You're listening to the Traffic and Conversion Show. I'm your host, Michelle Fernandez, and today I am sharing how to come up with top of funnel content. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the show. I am so excited for today, and I hope you are too, because Rebecca asked this specific question in my DM. She's like, hey, Michelle, what kind of content should I be putting at top of funnel? Rebecca, I am so glad you asked this. And if, by the way, if you have a question you'd like to ask me and then I answer it on the podcast, make sure you send me a DM on Instagram at the Michelle Fernandez. Okay. So first, you might be wondering, what the heck is top of funnel exactly, right? So when you picture an actual funnel, right, it's wide at the top and then it narrows at the bottom. So the widest part when it comes to marketing is where whenever I talk about like you want new people, right, new leads coming through your funnel on every day, right? And then they move down through and they actually become a customer at the bottom. And you might even be saying, well, wait a minute, if it's so wide at the top, how do all these people squeeze down to the bottom? Well, the idea is we don't want all those people to squeeze down to the bottom. We want our perfect people to come down to the bottom. So that's the beauty of top of funnel content, because with this content, they can decide if they want to continue going on their journey with you as your guide. So it's perfect. So some of you might even get leads and maybe have unsubscribes and you're like, oh, I hate looking at the unsubscribes. And I will tell you that I hated it too, until I realized that not everyone needs to be our customer, right? Okay, so top of funnel in marketing is the process of marketing to a wide audience to build brand awareness and capture as many leads as possible, all right? So since the audiences are mainly searching for information at the top of the funnel, the primary goal of marketing at this area are awareness and lead gen, okay? So what type of content can you use? All right. We're talking blog posts, webinars, right? Any type of social media posts. Infographics are really good. Videos, podcast episodes, anything that has value add. So think of something that you might have a lead magnet for. So it'd be like a PDF, an ebook, maybe like a mini course, something like that. All right. So when you're looking at creating content, you need to decide like where your prospect is in regards to their level of awareness to their problem, right? So, there's 5 levels of awareness. So if we're talking top of funnel, those are 3. Like, are they unaware that they have a problem? Do they know they have a problem? Like they're problem aware, or are they solution aware? It's like, I know I have a problem and then I know there is a solution. I just don't know which one to pick. Okay. So the question is, who do you want to work with? Do you want to, or who are you looking to attract? Right. So is it someone that doesn't know that they have a problem? So they're unaware that whatever they're experiencing, they think, oh, this is normal, right? It's like, I don't even think it's a problem. I just think that every woman over 50 has this particular problem and I got to live with it, right? They're settling. Okay. So if they have a problem, it's like, oh, I know I have a problem, not aware of the solution. It's kind of like, okay, oh yeah, this is a problem for me. Like I'm not getting leads and sales. And I didn't know that maybe running webinars was the thing for me to get more leads and sales. Okay. So this is where you need to come in with your messaging and calling in on those problems to tell them like, yeah, this is a problem. And by the way, did you know that this can be solved? Right? And then you want those light bulbs to go off. Right? You want them to kind of shift beliefs and thinking like, wait a minute, I don't have to settle with this, with this particular problem. Or if I know I have a problem and there is a solution for it, like, wow, right? So when you're doing this and anything that you do really marketing is pull out real life scenarios and letting them know that there is a solution, right? So does this make sense? So what do I mean about real life situations? I mean, if somebody describes something, like instead of saying, are you struggling, with getting your kids ready for school, right? Or you can paint a picture of what that chaos looks like trying to get the kids out of bed, right? You keep going in their bedroom and saying, time to wake up, right? Or what does that look like where the kids are coming all like half asleep to the breakfast table? Maybe it's talking about, talking and describing what that looks like. Those are real life scenarios that is going to make a connection with those people, okay? Because you're painting the scenario of what's most likely going on in their house every morning, right? Now, if they know there is a solution to the problem, that audience is searching or exploring for a solution. So they may have certain beliefs or thoughts about the solution that aren't real, right? Because they are just a thought or belief. So, how might you shift those thoughts or beliefs, right? Making them say either, I never thought of it that way, or question themselves like, wait a minute, is what I've been thinking this whole time true? Right? Like that's the coolest part when you can get them to, like maybe this, right? So top of funnel content that I find that works best is content that has very little to do with your product or service and everything to do with your buyer's interest and needs. Okay. Surprisingly, because you're probably like, wait, Michelle, you just said I have the solution. Why shouldn't I be telling them about that? Well, when you're top of funnel, they don't know you, right? They don't know who you are. They don't know what you're about. Why should they listen to you than some, big guru, right? How do you know more than the other person? So your goal is to become the authority in your niche, giving them interesting, educating, entertaining, useful information on all the topics or all the things that they care about. Since you're looking to attract a larger audience pool, the top of funnel content should be that attention grabbing, right? And also easily consumed. Okay. So when you're preparing your content, be thinking like engaging, very visual, right? Like engaging meaning like how, like, are you asking questions? Are you getting them to comment? Or even if you don't get them to comment in, are you getting them to think, right? I always like for them to do something, to take some sort of action. However, even if it's you're just getting them to watch longer and to engage with you some way, shape, or form, even if it's in their own head. Visual, you want to make sure it stands out in the feed, right? Everybody talks about scroll stopping graphics, video. Yes. So you want it to be visual that catches their eye. And then, of course, those bite-sized, snackable, if you will, chunks of content. Because everybody knows that. I know that a few years back, I was doing some research on humans' attention span, and it was like less than a goldfish, like 7 seconds. So when I say snackable, you want to like just make them short size to be like, oh my gosh, is this girl ever going to stop talking? Right? Because I know I'm a talker. So that's something I have to work on in shortening what that content looks like. Okay. So when you're looking to build that authority, how might you give them some tips or tools to help them get the results fast? Like solve a small problem that they have. Think about that. I know, and you can do this all kinds of creative ways, especially now with reels and stuff. It's short, sweet, and you can get it out there. Talk about grabbing their attention, right? That visual one. Just think about that. The idea is to build an engaged audience of this bite-sized content where your audience like, oh my gosh, this girl gets me. Like, how is she in my head? How does she have a camera in my house? Knowing what goes on every morning, getting my kids ready for school, right? And then you also want them to be saying like, she's always bringing me this useful information, these useful things to try. Like, oh, like, let me explore a little bit. Let me dive deeper, right? They want to know more. And then they're going to want to know more from you. Then that's where you start getting them into a little longer content, like maybe like a webinar or a lead magnet. So you can start to build that list. They can spend more time with you, right? Which remember, anything that they're doing and spending more time with you, more time watching, right? More time on the webinar, in a challenge, something like that. They're that's when we talk about high qualified leads. That's what it is, because they want to hang out with you. They want to learn more from you. So this is the value exchange. And the ultimate goal at the top of the funnel is to facilitate that exchange. Make sense? Okay. So, how do you come up with the topics, right? I always say this is super easy. You just do market research, right? So, what is your current audience and what are your current customers saying? What problems do they have? How are they describing them, right? Just think about all this. And some of it, you might do a little exercise. This is something that I have in my program where it's like you just kind of go around and around saying these things because you know your people pretty well. So you could probably already start that brain dump. But then as you start talking to people, whether it be on your sales calls, your coaching calls, your one-on-one calls, right? Maybe it's even on social media when you're doing a live video or something, post in your Facebook groups, whatever it is, and you just start adding to that list. What are they saying? Ask specific questions that are open-ended enough for them to actually say back to you versus multiple choice, say back to you describing how they are feeling, right? Emotional base is what's going to win you every time, okay? These are really going to help you a lot because if one of your customers is thinking, feeling, or believing certain things, I can guarantee you that others are too. All right. Okay, Rebecca, I hope that that answered your questions. And if you happen to have a question, be sure to send me a DM on Instagram at the Michelle Fernandez so I can answer it right here on the show. I appreciate you so much for being here with me today, and cheers to coming up with some awesome top of funnel content. Until next time, let's grow your business together.